Welcome to the Wind Up with Will, everyone. I'm your host, Will, here with another episode. And today we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. We're in the Stanley Cup Finals, we're in the NBA Finals. We finally made it through the season to the finals. I'm also briefly going to mention we got the uh, college baseball tournament going on right now, and I believe the softball is in the College World Series. We're going to briefly go through some of that. But we're gonna go. We're just gonna go ahead and jump in. We're gonna start with the NHL playoffs. So to wrap up the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals, last Wednesday the Florida Panthers won their series 4 games to 1 over the Carolina Hurricanes. They just absolutely dominated this series. I think the only game Carolina, which game did Carolina win out of this? I think they won Game 3, maybe. And won Game 4 when they were down 3-0. That Florida just dominated this series to go back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the third straight year. They're a really good team. They are just the cream of the crop. And then the very next night, the Oilers won their series 4-1 over the Dallas Stars. So we have a rematch of last year's finals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. Florida has become the state of hockey. It has become the best place for hockey in the world. The Tampa Bay Lightning, and a few years ago, won back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. The Florida Panthers are going to their third straight finals. That it has just become a place of hockey. Whereas Canada, which is being represented by Edmonton this year in the finals, have not won a Stanley Cup final since, I believe, '93. So it's been a long time for Canada. The Edmonton Oilers are, of course, hoping to break that drought and create a new dynasty. And I kind of think that they might do it. I think it's going to be a great matchup either way of who wins, because we're getting a rematch of last year. We're getting two really good teams. We've got a team that in Florida that has a ton of talent and is just good all around, and they've got a great coach. And you've got the Oilers, who have two of the greatest young stars in the game, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. These two guys that are just on Hall of Fame trajectories already, and have won MVPs and have just dominated since they've been in the league. But they have yet to win a Stanley Cup. And for the Edmonton Oilers fans, they're wanting this to happen now. And I think it very well could, because they've got the talent to win it. They have the talent, the top tier talent to win it. I think it's going to be a great series. I'm picking the Edmonton Oilers to win in 7 games. I think it's going to go down to the wire like it did last year. I don't think that Florida is going to jump out to a 3-1 lead in the series like they did last year, and Edmonton nearly pulls off the impossible. I think it's going to go back and forth. We might see it. I think it very well could be 2-2 after 4, and then it's going to come down to whoever wins Game 7. I really think is. I think it's going to go. Well, whoever wins Game 7 is obviously going to win it if it goes that far. But if it goes to Game 7, I'm picking the Oilers to win it. I think that they've got the talent and the scoring ability to beat Florida. So I'm picking the Oilers to win this series in 7 games. If I had someone else here with me, I would ask their thoughts on it. But we haven't got anyone else to be a visitor on this podcast. But hopefully soon, hopefully I can go visit some friends this summer, and we can get some people on to the Wind Up with Will with us to just share their thoughts. But moving on over to the NBA playoffs. It was a sad weekend for me. The New York Knicks, my favorite basketball team, my favorite NBA team, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Pacers Saturday night, 125 to 108. Pacers win the series 4-2. Sorry, I'm a little tired. Pacers win the series 4-2. They jumped up to a 3-1 lead in this series, and New York was really going to have to pull off the impossible. But after winning Game 5, and then even showing signs of being good early on, especially the first half of Game 6, it looked like the Knicks have got a chance to pull this back, and especially if it goes back to Game 7 back in New York. it's very possible that the Knicks win this series. It was just unfortunate that they just didn't have it the second half of Game 6 at Indiana. Pacers are the better team. They played the series a lot better. They're going to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2000. Hold on a second. My computer is dying. It's telling me it's dying. I've got to put my charger in here. It'd be really bad if I was recording this and it just cut out. So gotta get the computer charging. Um, so yeah, the Pacers won the series. Tyrese Halliburton actually did not win Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It was Pascal Siakam. That it became kind of a meme, or some people were making fun of it on the internet that it looked like he was excited thinking he was going to win the MVP, but it was Siakam. But none of that matters. All that matters is my Knicks lost again to the Pacers, and it means that we Knicks fans very much dislike the Pacers. It is going to be a great rivalry going forward, and we will I could probably see us facing them in the playoffs again next year. Exciting year for the Knicks, though, to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since the year 2000. Just great that we could make it that far. But you want to build on this, and the Knicks definitely need to improve their roster depth. Their bench was not very deep, and just you could tell, especially in Game 6 and a little bit through, even just throughout at various games in the Pacers series, it looked like that the starters were strained, where they're having to play close to 40 minutes some nights, and then the Pacers are just running new guys in and out every few minutes, or running one guy, a couple guys here or there, and the Knicks just don't have the ability to rest. And so you saw it where there were moments in the series, and even in Game 6, where Jalen Brunson's on the bench for 6 minutes because they're trying to get him an extended rest. So, because once he comes back in, he's finishing the game. And once he comes back in the fourth quarter, he's playing out to the end of the game. So they're trying to get long rests at times, but when you're doing those long rests, you're not having your good players out on the court for those moments because you're relying, well, that we got to rest them because we got to have them at the end. So in those kind of interludes, you got to find ways to score, and if your bench isn't that good, it's going to hurt you in the long run. And eventually came up to bite the Knicks. Also blowing uh, lead in game 1, and game 2 was a very winnable game, but blowing the lead in game 1 really set the tone for the series and really hurt the Knicks. They needed to not lose that game, but coming back and winning game 3 in improbable fashion, you think they could maybe even the series, but it just didn't work out. They did not look very good in game 4, and the Pacers ended up closing it out in 6. So the Pacers are going back to the NBA Finals, and they'll be facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won their series 4-1 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think most people were expecting the Thunder to win the series. They've been the best team in the NBA all year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won MVP for a reason. He is the best player, or at least arguably the best player in the league at the moment. So they're a really good team, and the exciting thing about this series, about this NBA Finals, even for someone like me who doesn't like the Pacers after them beating my Knicks, the exciting thing is it's two teams who've never won it. Now, you can say the Thunder did win it when they were the Seattle Supersonics back in, I think, the 70s. It's still technically the same franchise, at least until they put another team back in Seattle and give the history back. It's still technically the same franchise. So they technically did win a championship, but they've not won a championship as Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City is seeking its first professional sports title. They've not won, so it's exciting for them. The Pacers have never won an NBA Finals. They've won, I think, a couple ABA Finals back when they were in the ABA in the 70s, but they've never won the NBA Finals. So it's exciting that we got two teams in it that have never won it, that are looking to win it, or just haven't won anything in a long time. It's exciting from that perspective. I think it's going to be a great series, and I could very much see this series going 7. But I'm going to pick the Thunder in 6. I think they're the better team. They've mowed through teams all year. They have the best record in the NBA. They have the MVP. I think they're going to do it, and they're going to be well rested too, because they have been off since last Wednesday, where the Knicks Pacers series went to Saturday. So they're going to be more rested, have a full week off. before they play. So game one of the NBA Finals is this Thursday, 7:30 on ABC. And this Thursday, June 5th, 7:30 on ABC is the game one of the NBA Finals. Game one of the Stanley Cup Finals starts this Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. on TNT, True TV, or Max. Both of those finals are going to be epic, whether you watch them or not, whether you just watch one. I'm excited for it. I'll probably watch a little bit more of the Stanley Cup Finals, but I think both finals are going to be awesome to watch. Um, I also said I was going to mention college baseball, so we're going to go mention college baseball, and you can see I have my Murray gear on, and that is because the Murray State Racers baseball team, we won our conference tournament a little over a week ago and got the automatic qualification into the NCAA tournament. We got to go play in the Oxford Regional. There's 16 regionals with 4 teams each, and the highest seed gets to host the regional, and Oxford, Mississippi is Ole Miss. Ole Miss got to host the regional, and they're the number 10 team in the country, and Murray State's won the first 2 games, made it to the region final where they beat Ole Miss Friday night, then they beat Georgia Tech Saturday, and now they've got a rematch with Ole Miss. They lost last night to Ole Miss. Ole Miss beat them to force a final decisive game. It's double elimination, so every team's got to lose twice to get out. Ole Miss, if they lost last night, were out, but if they won, they forced an extra game today. Today is winner take all. Whoever wins is advancing to the Super Regionals to play Duke out of the Athens Regional. The loser's going home. I'm super excited. That's why I got my Murray gear on. They're playing Ole Miss tonight. Number 10 in the nation. They beat them Friday night. They maybe beat them again. Both teams' pitching is going to be a little bit strained because they've used a lot of pitchers over the last 3 days. But I'm super excited. This is a chance for Murray State to their first time ever to make it out of a regional and make it to the Super Regionals. They hadn't before this weekend. They hadn't won a game in the NCAA tournament in baseball since 1979. So it's really exciting. It's exciting for Murray. I was actually at Hop Hound Brew Pub here in Murray earlier today for Racer Report Live. They were interviewing our new basketball coach, and I got a chance to say hi and talk to him. And he asked me if I was going to watch the baseball game tonight. So it's a big deal here for Murray, where the baseball team has had some tradition and history and a lot of great seasons, but they've not had a lot of success in the postseason in terms of getting wins or advancing far. So it's really a chance to make history for Murray State tonight, and I really hope we can pull it out against Ole Miss. And something else to mention in the NCAA tournament for baseball, I've not really followed softball, so I'm sorry I don't have anything to report on that front. But hopefully in my next video I can give you some information on the Women's College World Series. I believe they're already in the Women's College World Series. In baseball, though, the number 1 and number 2 seed, the number 1 overall and the number 2 overall seeds are out of the playoffs. Vanderbilt lost last night. Who did they lose to? They lost to Wright State 5-4. Little bitty Wright State beat them to advance to the Super Regional, or was it the Super Region? Well, I'm just going to double check that. Yes, Wright State won to go to the Super Regionals last night, so they eliminated Vanderbilt. And then the other one was University of Texas San Antonio knocking off Texas, the number 2 overall seed. I think they said it's the first time ever that there's been the number 1 and number 2 seed both haven't made it out of the regional. So that's crazy that you have that level of upset. But you have upsets like that happen in college baseball. Earlier this year, Murray State beat UK at UK, who was a tournament team. We beat Western, who was a tournament team, actually in our regional. We beat Ole Miss Friday night, beat Georgia Tech Saturday, and we've got a chance to beat Ole Miss again today. So in baseball, it's always a little quirky, and smaller teams can have upsets quite often. So if you've never gotten into college baseball, I highly recommend it because there's always some weird, quirky scores, and there's always a chance for an upset. And especially in baseball, you have a lot of the little teams that will sometimes make runs deep into the tournament because as long as you've got a few good pitchers and they can pitch well and you can get hot at the right time, you can go a ways in the tournament. So, college baseball is exciting. I'm excited for the Racers tonight. Let me know. This is all I've got for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who are you rooting for in the college baseball tournament? Who's going to win the College World Series? Who's going to win the Stanley Cup Finals? And who's going to win the NBA Finals? Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.